Good afternoon, Internet. There's a couple of things that we want to talk about today. First of all, the main story is we're going to talk about AI's PR problem, which is a report from Jerry Kaplan in the MIT Technology Review that came out just a couple of weeks ago. And we want to delve into that a little bit deeper about some of the things that he said and kind of spread it out and mash it up and go in a little bit. So, anyway, hope that didn't sound dirty. That would be bad. But the first thing we're going to talk about is 2 weeks ago, the company Miso Robotics released a new robot called Flippy, which is a very simple name, but the robot, what it's designed to do is actually to flip hamburgers. Now, if you look at the robot, it's really not that impressive mechanically. As a matter of fact, we've already talked about it. The robot arm that they use for the demonstration is a Universal Robotics U-arm. So it's really not that interesting. They made a new gripper that's basically a cylinder that breaks in half, that they go down, they grab the hamburger. Just look at this. They go down, they grab the hamburger, and then they flip it over. The robot's not able to grab raw meat, and it still needs a human worker there to kind of keep an eye on it and place down the raw patties and put cheese on the patties and everything else. But the robot can flip the burgers and then place the burgers on the buns, which is a useful task because the robot is able to continuously make burgers while the human worker is out interacting with people or just doing the more complex tasks like handling raw meat that a robot you wouldn't want to do because it would have to switch grippers all the time to keep from infecting stuff. But it's a good step, and Miso Robotics is expecting to create all kinds of different robots like this for specific uses inside of a restaurant, like making French fries, flipping hamburgers, putting the buns together. And there's a lot of food startups that are actually doing this right now, so it's really not that surprising, but it's pretty darn good. The other thing that came out this week was Georgia Tech released a new report, a new paper about using click and pick software, where instead of having a person who wants to come in and teleoperate a complex manipulator, like say you've got a robot that's stuck in a warehouse and it needs help from a human, instead of having that human go in and move an augmented reality gripper around and get it positioned in 3 dimensions so it can grab the thing, basically what they're doing is they're combining machine vision with a little touch of intelligence, and then having the human click on the pin to say, okay, you grab it right about there, and just clicking on a 2D image of the situation, and then the robot can adjust itself to grab those things, which is a good UI advantage. Georgia Tech has been moving ahead in UI a lot, and they're usually the ones to create the best new interfaces most of the time. All the other places are kind of distracted by the intelligence and that kind of thing. So the connection between us and the robots is getting lost at a lot of other universities. Not at Georgia Tech. They're doing a good job. Kudos, guys. Keep that up. Now, talking about Jerry Kaplan's blog post on the MIT Technology Review. If you don't know, Jerry Kaplan was one of the founders of Go Computing, which was the most funded startup in the 1980s, I think. What they were doing was working on pin computing that became the precursors to the Newton and even the smartphone and everything else. Touchscreen computing. They created some of the first OSs for that. But Jerry Kaplan himself, he's got an original bachelor's degree in science and philosophy, and then he's also got a PhD in computer science. So he's not some schlub off of the street that decided, oh, I'm going to go build robots, and somehow got rich at it and now thinks that he has an opinion. That's not the case here. What he talks about in this article is really how the misperception of AI has grown inside of the media, because many people attribute anthropomorphic capabilities to these machines. They say, oh, the media goes out and yells, oh my gosh, a robot, a computer just beat a human at Go. They're all gonna kill us in 10 years. Get ready. No, that's the issue that we've had for a long time, because the media's perception of robotics has been so skewed towards the fiction's perception of robotics, which ever since RUR in the 1920s has perceived robots as a dangerous threat to humans no matter what their capabilities. In every movie about robotics, besides WALL-E, and even in that one the robot is a bad guy, it was the big wheel robot that goes after the captain, bad guy. WALL-E was a cute little one, so fortunately he was the hero, otherwise this was going to go bad. But okay, so robots have been perceived very poorly anymore, even though they're really not that smart, guys. Computers are still phenomenally stupid. They have no common sense. They have very limited capabilities for what they're able to do. The thing is, what people are scared of is that with these limited capabilities, we're giving them more and more power and more computational ability so that they may overextend what they're capable of doing in order to achieve some task. It's not so much a question of some sentient machine coming and taking us over because they hate us, like in the Terminator. It's more of a question of a machine breakdown where a program tries to achieve its task and does it by getting rid of humans. That's the danger right here. Now, a few organizations, this fear of robotics has gotten so bad that even in the legal context, people are going after it because they're misconstruing mechanical capabilities. We're going to call computational capabilities mechanical capabilities because that's the way we're going to do it. But they're misconstruing that for intelligence. They're thinking wheels and gears are the same as sentience and intelligence. A European Union committee has called for a report on registering intelligent machines, which is ridiculous because you cannot define intelligence. Do you know what this is? Do you have a definition for that? It means, oh, I'm smart. I don't know. No one has that. Philosophers don't have a concept of what intelligence is. And this is also kind of dangerous, but also important to note that we do not know what intelligence is and at what point something becomes intelligent. It's a continuum. We know that we are smarter than a mouse, but we don't know what the in-betweenness is except for these data points that we have. Well, it's us, and then monkeys, and then dolphins, and then dogs, and then mice, on down there, but we don't know how to quantitatively measure that. We just have these references. We say, well, it's as smart as a dog. It's as smart as a dolphin. It's as smart as this. And then you've got context associated with that. When we were working on nuclear weapons, we had a theory to define how that was working. We had E equals MC squared. Perfect situation right there. Right now, we don't have that for intelligence. We've got person in that situation. Robot does the same thing. Person playing chess, person playing Go, someone grabbing something from a warehouse. Those are the only things we have. We only have these situations to compare to. We don't have a quantitative formula, which is a problem. And Jerry Kaplan goes into other kind of points too. He even says that the word artificial intelligence is bad because it makes us anthropomorphize these machines even more because we associate intelligence with us. Therefore, we compare the machines directly to us, which is unfair and incorrect in so many different ways. But that's kind of the news right now in robotics. Let us know what you think of this. How much do you think that the AI is really impacting the world right now? Do you think that they're really going to come kill us? Or do you think it's okay? Do you think we're anthropomorphizing them too much? To what degree, where do you define intelligence? What is the range of intelligences? That'd be really interesting to hear what you guys have to think. So comment below, like that button if you really like it, subscribe to this channel. We talk about AI and technology as often as we possibly can, and the more people we got, the more times we can do this stuff. So thanks a lot, everybody. Talk to you next week.